ahead. Turn it up. It's The Record Machine with your host, Jimmy Howell.
Sunset Boulevard, eyes undressing you. I was up all night, but I don't mind. I'll get a little help from a friend of mine on a catwalk to the edge of time.
We are back for part 2 of this interview. Let's pick the conversation up right where we left off.
But I learned, that's another school and education you have to go to, real estate. I thought I just wing it.
Right.
Just, hey, I had a great place in the Hollywood Hills, with this really beautiful girl, and, it wasn't interfering, with the work. I was actually closer to a lot of people. And I was able, to utilize that property there. Why not? Anyway, I didn't see a crime in it, but they didn't like it, and I didn't own it, and they were, advancing me, my money to stay alive and a wonderful recording studio. But my point to that whole thing was the piano that was in there. I mean, I can list the writers that are. It was said when I got over to Geffen, there was a particular group of people that were almost, I don't know if it was an extended arm from those people at Homegrown, but like, it's just this particular mob, if you will. It's just like, so you were signed to, really? And you're not dead? I said, no, I'm not dead. I'm sitting in your office. We're negotiating, aren't we? You said you like that song. I love that song. So I'm glad you love that song. It's very flattering. It makes me feel good. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. Well, all I'm saying is people who sign to Homegrown either go on to very successful careers or they die. One or the other, and you're still here. So,
wow.
And listen, if Bruce Springsteen's the boss, Billy Joel is the champ, and I wouldn't, I won't fool around with any of those guys. Great respect for both those artists. Yeah, absolutely. I have a pretty good idea of exactly where my place is on the pop culture totem pole of the universe, but still grateful and, really kind of blown away to be on the phone with you, Jimmy. I really appreciate the call. I do, sincerely.
I appreciate you talking about it.
But it was a real thing because it was a political thing, because when you got in, I mean, Homegrown led to the Sony thing, and then the Sony thing led to the Chrysalis thing. But all of these things were, they were highly. You were moving in a particular way. I wasn't performing as much because they didn't really like it. If they signed you as a writer, I mean, you really had to be a guy that said, F you, man. I'm an artist and I'm going to perform. And, I'm first, I think, a performer because I would love to sing. I don't go into the plays and my New York experience and all of that. But, I love all that. And, I loved it then and I did it then. But when you're being paid, decent money and, we're in bona fide publishing houses now, they're advancing you that dough and they want it back. So they're not necessarily, unless they see that somebody's pouring dough into you and perhaps they see something in you, but they put all their money on me as a writer, so they wanted all of me as a writer. So I wasn't really getting the support as an artist during those particular days. If you will, if that makes any sense at all, they tried to be judicious about how they did that, but it was like, dude, we've got, Terry Nunn is coming down and you're going to sit and you're going to work with her. She wants to work with you. And, so whatever gig you're talking about, that has to go on ice because you got to put the next month aside for that situation or whatever situation that was coming. So you become sort of their boy. And, that was all great. And it was wonderful. Had a lot of fun. Met a lot of people, got my first gold record. A lot of growing up, a lot of learning how to acclimate to what was becoming. See, the game was changing from the time I jumped over the fence to bang on that piano, the game was changing every day. You know, to Napster and to where we are right now.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I, I'm not real proud to admit it, was not as keen to all of that as I, you know, when I look back, it's like, you could have been so much smarter regarding all of that on so many fronts. And certainly, you know, a few levels you could have prepared, you could have thought about, you know, where it's going. But I was in the song, man. I was in the song, or I was in the performance, and you know, I just kept. That was the driving wheel for me. And I have to say thank you. Can I say thank you too?
Yeah. Yes. Yep.
I said certainly thank you to you, Jimmy. Gotta shout out to all my friends at the Gator Mix. Those
good
guys,
people.
you know, I gotta just say thank you to everyone. You know who y'all are. I'm not gonna say your names, but thank you out loud.
Scott
from the heart.
Scott and AZ Lady and Lou from the Spin Room.
All of them, man.
Good people.
Leslie, Mark Hanna, Scott, everyone. See, we mentioned them. Now we're leaving someone out. and I don't want to. Rusty. Thank you to the Gator Mix. But that was a whole. That's like one. That's that whole writing thing. Very, very political. It was like a three-dimensional chess game, you know.
Yeah.
Because there were different echelons, you know, who had like, you know, the 5 platinum records, who had the 3 golds, who didn't have any but was amazing. You know, you had to keep your eye on that ball too. But yet it was all really wonderful. And actually that Sony run were probably, in my, you know, I don't know if they were musically the best years of my life creatively, but I really had the most fun because I moved away. You know, alcohol and I have a particular relationship, and I was able to, you know, really come to terms with that, and that was a big deal. And I stopped taking hostages, and really was able to bear down in a way that I hadn't in a little while. And to do that in such a ultra professional situation was amazing, because I was told, like, you know, dude, a lot of writers, man, what happens is, you know, when they stop doing a particular thing, the writer's block comes. And I couldn't keep up with the stuff that was coming out. And they couldn't keep up with the people they were sending me. So that all sort of worked out, you know, not that everything was like, you know, the Mona Lisa or anything, but it was just a plethora of ideas, and that was all good, because I needed that sort of massiveness on the creative front to stay looking as awesome as I was, to be quite honest with you. Because you know, if it was a writer's block situation, I'm not really sure how I would have handled it. But by the grace of God, you know, when I did adjust my relationship with alcohol, it just opened floodgates like I didn't know. It was unbelievable. So that was a great thing. And I often think, like, that I don't know, it was a 15-year run with the best years of my life. But like now I'm into like this creative stuff that I'm like, this is the stuff. This is the stuff. You know, because I'm like, you know, I'm just working with, you know, some folks down in Nashville and some people in Los Angeles, and I'm trying to get my fingers into some film and TV, which we've done, but I'm trying to do it, and, you know, hold on to some of the rights to the actual masters and, the music and the work, Yeah, because those corporate places that signed you, which are wonderful, it's like they sign 8 guys, 12 guys. You're like a horse pulling a carriage, and they're going to take you through Death Valley. Most of those horses are going to die, but 1 or 2 of those horses are going to make it. And for all the money that they put out for the entire, for each horse, will pay the 1 or 2 horses that survive will make it all worthwhile for them. Mm-hmm. But they you don't have to talk ugly about them, but they do squeeze you for every creative drop of juice you've got, and that's kind of the way that went. And as I said, that was fine for that time. And, as I got older, it was just like, I still want to perform, and I'm still writing, and and with the changes that were happening with music, that period, I don't know when it was it 92 to 98, or was it 98 to 2008, that Backstreet period where I just felt like they're feeding you pablum. Mm-hmm. We are truly being fed pablum. The nation, the world, certainly us here in the U.S., we're being fed pablum. And I, love pop music. I'm a pop guy. Uh-huh. So I felt like, I wasn't the harshest critic. You know what I mean? And yet at the same time, it was like, this stuff is not good. And then it started to move into an area where, like, this is actually bad. This is bad for any audience. This is bad for the kids.
All sounded the same, right?
Yeah, it was that, and poor work. It was just poor work. The bar was low.
Right. It was just,
and again, I love pop music. There's a lot of silly songs that are just great, but these weren't silly songs. These were songs that were like really manufactured. And you might think that's, well, so what's wrong with that? What's the sin in that? And I don't know. I'm not super comfortable being that guy that saying, well, it's manufactured, so it's no good. It's just like, well, it sounds manufactured. It doesn't sound like an honest record. It doesn't sound like an honest song. It's not authentic, man. We're just now replicating, and I thought that was a bad thing. I thought there were a handful of really bad things, and I'm not sure 1, 2, or 3 generations went through it. Certainly 2 did.
Right.
They got like a good 20 to 25 years, if not more, of spoon feeding that to the masses. And what did we do? We swallowed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm sure there was great music going on all around us at the time, but I just wasn't hearing it en masse, so to speak. Mm-hmm. And
during your career, your songwriting career, I mean, you've worked with great artists like Vanessa Williams, Bill and Tamara Champlin, Joan Jett, Lita Ford, Terry Nunn, Vixen, even scored a #1 with Vanessa Williams back in '93 for Love Is.
Correct. That it was sort of the tail end of the way that I grew up in the music industry. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like all of those things I had to watch become digitalized. Right. And not that that's necessarily so terrible, but within that transfer, there were a lot of lime wires and a lot of ways to get your music free. And then, there were certainly a lot of artists and songwriters that just had to get out. There was not really, a real way to make a living any longer. You know, and there were guys that were certainly more on top of that than I was. But, you know, I certainly knew some, and these were great artists, and they did not have their finger on that pulse in that transfer. And I don't know. I just think look, it's what it was. I don't know what to compare it to. Perhaps the Industrial Revolution.
Uh-huh.
You know, we were horse and buggies, and the car came. And, you know, this is progress. This is what it is. You know, we certainly weren't going to hold it back. You know, you either morph, you change, or you die. And that became pretty evident, you know, with all my kicking and screaming. You know, this was what it was. So it didn't take terribly long for me to begin to acclimate to it. But as I said, during that exchange, that transfer, it was just like, whoa. I mean, unless you really had your stuff in order, super order, you lost money, depending, you know, on how tight you kept your catalog, how tight your relationship was with your lawyer, and how tight his organizational skills were regarding your catalog. All of that mattered. It all came to bear. I mean, you know, you think maybe, you know, you sign a deal, it's a substantial deal with a publishing house, and you do that, and you're kind of done with that lawyer until the next situation. But the lawyers had to become, you know, you really kind of had to welcome them into the family, because they were sort of an extension, you know, of your creative arsenal, if you will, you know, because these were the protectors. These were, you know, and I just, you know, never gave it that thought, because we were coming from an older model. That's all. You know, we were horse and buggy, and then the car came. So, but here we are, and, you know, I get to talk to you, so I'm grateful for that. And it just feels like I'm able to reinvent myself again through this new world of technology and advancement. And I still think we're in the primordial ooze of it all. I think we're still barely beginning. I can't believe. Can you imagine where we're going to be in 6 or 8 years from now?
Yeah, it's.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, it's this now. Like, my God.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah. It might be just incredibly cool until the machines, you know, start to really understand. Well, I don't need to tell you that movie, right?
Yeah.
How?
Well, this podcast is going to feature 2 of your tracks, Born with an Accordion and a cover of Ray Davies' Sunny Afternoon. What's the story behind those songs?
The story on Born with an Accordion is it's semi-autobiographical. I wrote it with my dear friend, my brother, Glenn Goss, who actually passed during the recording of Born with an Accordion. So we lost him, but we were able to get it out. We have physical copies for sale. You can get them over at michaelcarusomusic.com. Go there, michaelcarusomusic.com. Click the Bandcamp link. At michaelcarusomusic.com, click the Bandcamp link, and it will take you to the physical copy. They're limited editions. We did actually much better than I thought with them. And thank you all for who ordered one, because we ordered a little too many, and they're going. And I want to say thanks to everyone out there, you know, on Instagram and my Facebook friends, and just everyone out there on social media. who picked one up. MichaelCarusoMusic.com. Click the Bandcamp link and pay pretty much whatever you want. And I'll send you a copy of Born with an Accordion. There's a radio edit and an outtake there, an alternative version. And it's my story. It's my story, Born with an Accordion. And, hopefully, my COVID vanity project was, I saw it as a one-act play, Jimmy. And I got together with another buddy of mine, Mark Kalogi, and we wrote a synopsis that we're still sort of working on here for a one-act play. Mm-hmm. But I actually think it's the book. So perhaps, it's an episodic thing. It feels very serial-like to me, this Born with an Accordion. So maybe there will be a one act. Maybe there will be Joe Nicolo from Rough Nation. He's got his own label in Philadelphia, did a remix on Born with an Accordion. And Joe's tied to it's his organization. It's called the Sound Mind Network. Mm-hmm. And, it's for folks who are suffering from addiction and PTSD and just, troubled souls. And Joe's trying to make a difference. And there's some really amazing artists tied to this. And Joe did a remix of the accordion. And he said he wanted to put it on this particular album, which will be released on vinyl, hopefully by the end of the year, although we're not positive on that. So I'm a little reluctant to say when it's coming out, but I know Joe's working very hard on it. SoundMindNetwork.org. And hopefully Joe's remix will be on that album along with some other pretty big artists, and that's kind of exciting. So the accordion just keeps finding its way, Jimmy. Mm-hmm. It just keeps finding its way. And the Gator mix has been a giant help with that. And I don't know, we might actually get this up and running at some off-Broadway place back east, or perhaps, the Pasadena Playhouse out here. I'm not sure, but we're working on it. And as I said, it feels episodic. So cool. We'll just keep, we just keep working the accordion. It's not streaming yet. That should happen probably next year, but I want to see what happens with, the Joe Nicolo situation. And, that's sort of the Michael Caruso story, the Born with the Accordion thing. And, it's a kind of a long one, as you can tell. And then the Ray Davies thing was a lark. It was just a lark. We were working on another song entirely, an original song. My friend Randy Sharp and I, we are friends and longtime collaborators. And I was sitting at the board. This is one of those be careful what you wish for type things. Mm-hmm. But it was 35 years, maybe longer in my life. And I was coming up as a kid, it was like I really always wanted to do Sunny Afternoon. I mean, I don't know how you feel about the Kinks, but
I like
they were good with me. They were certainly good with me. I was a Stones guy and a Beatles guy, and it's like the Kinks. Yeah, are you kidding? What's going on with them? They're like the Beatles, but not. And they're like, what is that modal? They had that modal sound in their guitar. Or there was something. It was a little different about the way they rocked. And I just dug Ray, and I dug him as a songwriter and a storyteller. And it was just like, I love this guy. I had a boy crush on the Kinks and Ray Davies, and I just fell in love with Sunny Afternoon as a kid. And it was like, I'm going to have to do that song one day. Now, you grow up and you're pretty busy trying to figure that out. And then, you grow up and you're still trying to figure that out, and you got all these responsibilities, and it's like, gosh, I guess that's not necessarily going to happen. But we're writing this other song, and I just remember holding my head on the board, and Randy was sitting next to me, and it was very non sequitur, had nothing to do with the song that we were working on, and I said, I want to record Sunday Afternoon by Ray Davies one day. And I didn't say it loud. I didn't say it to him. But obviously Randy heard it and didn't say anything at all. And, I went back home and we continued to work on the song that we were working on. And when I returned about a week later, Randy had the track smoking. We put some hand claps and percussion on there, did the backgrounds. He said, "You're ready to sing this thing, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And the recording, that's another interview completely, but we did 2 passes, lead vocals, we comped them, and it was done. So it has been that easy in the past, but not very often. That's all I can tell you. So it was a lark. Randy Sharp made it come true. I thank him for that. And, we entered it into the ARPA International Film Festival, and it was nominated. We didn't win, but I'm not sure if it was the following year or last year, I think it was. Last year we entered the accordion, and we won audience favorite. And we got to go do that because it was a COVID thing, and they did it online, and our particular video, which we got completely torpedoed by with, the whole situation, but we made the best of it. And for some reason, it got the most clicks in the music video category, which I was blown away because they just held the thing recently. And I didn't know I was going to get like the piece of crystal, with, the award and all that. I really did not expect it. I knew that we won that, but I just thought it was just sort of we're going to give the redheaded stepchild a little nod or something.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, it was way cool because they're celebrating 25 years in about 3 months together. And I don't know if you know anything about film festivals, but from what I got to know through the ARPA International Film Festival, there's thousands upon thousands of them, and many of them can barely hang together 3 years. They're celebrating 25. So I'm proud to be a part of that, and super proud that the people who attended ARPA around the world clicked on our video the most times because we got the award. So kudos to my director, Peter Whittington, and it was a big deal, and it just keeps. And when I say like that, the accordion just keeps finding its way, and that was another example in the video being recognized, and Joe hearing it, and possibly, he did remix it, he did his work on it, and hopefully all the stuff that's got to happen to get the record out will all happen, and we'll be on that, and I'll be real proud to be a part of that because that'll be a Philly thing, and hopefully a worldwide thing. But he's doing good work with that Sound Mind Network, and I'll be proud to be part of it.
Nice.
So that's the story.
Now is you working on any material right now that you care to talk about?
I'm working on material. I'm absolutely working on material. Yeah, and it's a very kind question.
Okay.
I've got my fingers. I'm down in Nashville with some film and TV stuff. Can't speak as clearly as I would like about that because that's just not real. However, it feels really good, and I'm excited. Tamara and I are working on a really beautiful song that hopefully, I hope we can get it out before the end of the year.
Cool.
I believe Tamara will be performing that, but I already told her, I said, Tamara, I have to do my version on this. I love this. I love what you're doing. Listen to this. Okay, whatever you want to do. Let's finish this because we're so close. So yeah, Tamara and I got a couple of things that are really close. And so that's kind of the Nashville stuff is big, and you know how that is. I don't want to give it the kibosh.
Right.
It's, and it's just not real enough to talk about. It's got to be real if I'm doing an interview with somebody. Even the Joe thing, I know Joe remixed it, so even if it doesn't happen, I have a Joe Nicolo remix, and I don't know if you know who he is, but Joe's done Cypress Hill and Lauren Hill, all the hills. Yep. Joe climbed all the hills.
Nice.
But Joe made his way. He's known as Joe the Butcher, and I was very proud for him to take a look at the accordion and just was like, what is this? I said, do you like it? It's cool. It's just a cool song, and there it was again, finding its way. So I don't know. I have this idea that perhaps in 2 years, the world may actually come to understand and accept and know Born with an Accordion. So it's about all I got at the moment, Jimmy.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Well,
very great.
I understand that you're a voting member for the Grammy committee. How does one become a member, and what does that entail?
You stay alive. You stay alive. This is an important bit of business.
Okay.
Because, there's voting members that are 25 years old. And I can't help but imagine that the accordion and that ARPA audience favorite win did not have something to do with it. It could not be a coincidence that I received that award from the film festival. And within, 12 to 13 days, it was less than 2 weeks, they reached out to me. And they said, we thought you were already a member. Well, why aren't you a member?
Okay.
So there was this confusion about is there another Michael Caruso? I said, suddenly there's a lot of Michael Carusos. This is a very common name, which was not the case for many, many decades prior. But suddenly there's a lot of me. Well, a lot of that name around for sure. And I don't know. I know that was true, so I knew that might be a possibility. But so what's the story? They said, well, you should be a member. I said, I should be a member. You're absolutely right. It's like, I should be a member. They said, well, we're going to send, a form. It's just formality. Fill it out and do what we say. And, we're going to have these meetings, and there's going to be these get-togethers, and you have to wear the right clothes and comb your hair right, and you'll be representing the Grammys, young man, and you better do the right thing. It's all good. I'll be there. And you're going to be a voting member. You're going to have 5 votes. If we catch you doing this or that, you'll be out. And it's like, okay, I'm a good guy now. We got through the police chase, portion of the show. That happened decades ago. Okay, we're all good. It's okay. I gotcha. So, yes, this is brand new. This is brand new, Jimmy. Literally hitting 3 weeks.
Nice.
And I just got an email. They're like, hey, dude, if you got it in you, I'm not necessarily sure. It was like, we want you to go to Washington with, some people, but you're a part of this, and you need to stand up for artists and songwriters, because we're getting ripped off like we've never been. And this is still going on. And I remember Don Henley, Sheryl Crow. I'm not sure if it wasn't back in the 90s or the early 2000s. Am I dreaming? Is this a hallucination? I saw them, I thought, in front of Congress.
Probably.
Fighting, so that struggle seems to go on. And I wasn't even considering that part of it. You know what I mean? It was, for me, it was the whole thing of coming in to that family, so to speak, and coming to know those people, and really calling serious balls and strikes and being good at it. This is what I thought it was, but I think it involves more than I had imagined. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking it slow, and I get 5 votes, and I'm listening to new music. I heard something the other night. The title really intrigued me. I think the title. I'm plugging these people. I don't know these people. I have no dog in this race, and it's not necessarily the song of the year, but it just got me. It was called, like, if you listen to my Madeline and you listen to, I mean, they're very different. This has got that EMD touch to it. And Madeline is sort of more kind of coming out of the Heartbreakers vibe with a Leonard Cohen kind of lead singer kind of thing. And it wasn't trying for that. That's just what happened because that seemed to be the character. But this band I heard the other night, they were called Girl Pool. And the title was Nothing Gives Me Pleasure. And I said, what an intriguing title.
Wow.
Nothing Gives Me Pleasure. And it was like, this is from the Madeline, which is Madeline, that's Glenn Goss and Michael Caruso. Born with an Accordion, Glenn Goss, Michael Caruso. There's another story behind that. I'll tell you sometimes. That's a funny story, Glenn and I. But nonetheless, Madeline is a particular thing. It's a genre. It's a particular story, and I feel like although this is different, it is a page. It is a piece of the page from Madeline, and it was just like, wow, Nothing Gives Me Pleasure, and I won't ruin it for you. Check them out, Girl Pool. I don't, it was just like, what a beautiful hook. The way they tie that title to the payoff. It's just like, nice. Very nice. But, you would have to hear Madeline and to hear that. And, it's like sort of lyrically tied together. They certainly sonically are very different, but, I know what I'm talking about. If you hear them both, you might. So anyway, Girl Pool. Love them.
Do you have a website you'd like to promote?
MichaelCarusoMusic.com. That's the website. The links are there. MichaelCarusoMusic.com. I'm on all the platforms, but I want to send people directly to Bandcamp.
Cool.
If you want When the Devil Starts to Pray, may I give it an email address, Jimmy, please?
Sure.
When the Devil Starts to Pray, another song that I co-wrote with Randy Sharp, is the name of an EP we put out maybe 10 years ago. And it's got some great songs on there. And that's available on all the platforms. A couple of the songs are available at Bandcamp. But if you want that EP, there's 8 songs on that EP, just email me at michael@michaelsdisciples.com. Michael@michaelsdisciples, DISCIPLES. Michael@michaels, it's plural, Michael, singular, @michaelsdisciples.com. Just send me, a request and, we'll work something out and I'll make sure you get it. Otherwise, you can go over to Amazon or iTunes or wherever and pick it up. But if you want a signed copy, I'll work something out. I wanted that email, michael@michaelsdisciples.com. But the website is michaelcarusomusic.com. Go there. Go to Bandcamp. Just click Bandcamp. You'll see the black and white. My papa's in the front. He's a scary dude. He's the whole shot. And order the physical copy, and I'll send that out to you. Pay whatever you want. You'll see it there. And you actually get a download. It's like, I didn't know this, but it'll download. If you actually ordered it, it downloads right to your computer. And then I get the order, and my people will send it out, or I'll send it out. Either way, you'll get it.
Nice.
So,
is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today? Yes,
Jimmy, but we'll be here till 5. I mean, I'm hopefully doing some work with a Canadian artist. She's I think she's an incredible vocalist, singer, performer. Her name is Shari Chaskin. This is so much. I remember Jimmy's Edward Scissorhands. Right. I said, so, okay, so Jimmy's, so he's Scissorhands. Correct. I said, well, yeah. Shari in Calgary, Canada. We're going to be doing some work together, hopefully, in the beginning of the year. She's got a single out right now called Margate. Look out for that. Beautiful song. Mm-hmm. Salute to her dad. And another artist in London, Suzanne Cook. And dear friend, Suzanne Cook. I've been working with Suzanne for about 6 years. And she's got some stuff out there that she just does beautifully. Her and her partner, Tim Devereaux. Sir Timothy Devereaux.
Cool.
Suzanne Cook and Shari in Calgary. I'm kind of fascinated with Girl Pool. I'm going to hunt them down. This film and TV stuff that I mentioned down in Nashville is another thing. I'm sorry I can't be more necessarily specific about that. Right. The work that I'm doing right now with Tamara Champlin, very excited about, because that's stuff that is she'll do, will do, I'll do. Mm-hmm. So you know what I mean. You had to become more expansive than just being the lead singer of a band, which I love to do. And I would run around wherever they would have me. Quite honestly, I mean, it was one period there, not terribly long, but it was like, this is the Fuller Brush tour, dude. I'm the Fuller Brush man. I just knock on people's door. You just bring a guitar, you have your mandolin player or your accordion player, and you just show up and you knock. Mm-hmm. And you let them know, this is real. And if you're game, we'll come in. It's not just we're going to play songs for you either. This is sort of a visitation. This is, look, we're not, walking on water here, but there's something divine here going on. You got to go with it. If you go with it, I promise you'll feel that way. Mm-hmm. She's a great cook. The fiddle player, we're going to cook for you. We're really educated. We can play shrinks. You can tell us all about your problems. We'll talk. We'll eat. We'll play a few songs for you. If it goes really well, we'll stay over. We're good with the couch. You got that extra bedroom, right? That'll be cool. And we did this for a minute, and I actually thought, well, what would this be like? Say, dude, you're not, my wife is, that's not going to happen. So it's already out of control. You've done it 3 times. You can't do that. I said, I know. Just crazy. Because I actually thought, we won't fly. We'll do it on trains. And we'll just train all over the country. And, sort of a romantic idea. But, there's pit bulls and, it's a pretty dangerous place. And then COVID, of course, really knocked it sideways. So when I appear, it's sort of in a semi-bona fide place. Mm-hmm. But even that now is just trying not to be as sketchy about it. But, certainly don't want to get political. But, I spend time over at UCLA. A lot of doctors there. I know professors there. These guys are really great because they're not just doctors. They're doctors that know how little they know. They're aware of my specialty's in this box. But there's so much more to it because they understand truly that the body is holistic, and you don't get that a lot. With Western medicine, they're just stuck in that thing, and They don't want to get out of that thing. So I'm very fortunate to know Western doctors, Western medicine men, if you will, who are guys that really allow themselves to think outside the box, that allow for the thinking that the body is entirely holistic. Yeah. Sorry. Was that tangential? Or was that but I'm grateful for those guys too. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, dude. I'm so grateful to be here because, you know, when we tell the whole story, you know, I mean, it was only an 8 or 9 foot drop, but that was a pretty serious incline. That car rolled on its side. And you walked away, and they just towed the car home. And that was a fairly kind of serious accident. You could have really been like taken out or injured, and you're a lucky guy. So all that being said, I have come to this place of gratitude, and I like it. It's because, you know, as long as I'm grateful, Jimmy, I can't be hateful.
Right.
Which I can be. You know, I'm not a big road rager. You know, I don't suffer from that, but apparently a lot of people do. And even like, gosh, I'm afraid to say it because I've been lucky, but like I'm a pretty good driver. I try to stay aware, but like there's always something that I seem to do that like pisses somebody off. They say, Michael, they're going to be pissed. It's not you. You know, they have their lives, you know, like the thing that's not coming together for you or the thing that's upsetting you. Well, they got that times 5, and, you know, you're just reminding them of somebody they hate, and, you know, they just like slamming their horn at you. That's all. You just don't take it personally. It's okay. You're laughing. But it's real. And you should listen to Madeline. You should listen to When the Devil Starts to Pray, Madeline, and check out Girlpool. You know, Nothing Gives Me Pleasure.
I'll definitely do that.
You got to A/B that stuff. But you know, yeah, Shari and Calgary, wonderful artist. Excited to get with her and see what kind of noise we're going to make next year. And Suzanne and Tamara, working with a really wonderful artist, writer, producer, hardcore gunslinger, Trey Bruce out of Nashville. Mm-hmm. Father was Ed Bruce, who wrote "Mama, Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Cowboys." So I always say Trey's pedigree. He's pedigree, but he don't like that. He don't need it either, quite frankly, because Trey stands on his own and just is a wonderful artist, singer, producer, record maker, writer. You know, and we're finishing up. It's actually not a new one, but I reimagined it. Called him. I said, I want Adele on this. I want Adele. So we're reimagining that song right now, and I hope to be closing that up soon and be able to take that to marketplace as well. So there's a lot of stuff that's going, and you know, some of this stuff doesn't come to bear, you know. Mm-hmm. But all that I mentioned, I believe will. Like Suzanne Cook is happening, and I think she's going to do very well abroad, if not globally. Shari's just at it in Canada, and I'm very proud of the work that she's doing on her own, and very, you know, I'm honored to be a part of that. And the work that I'm doing with Tamara, of course, I'm very excited about. And I'm really excited about this piece that Trey and I are rounding out as well, Trey Bruce and I. It's kind of everything at the moment. And of course, Born with the Accordion, michaelcarusomusic.com. Click the band link, order the CD. I'll send it to you. You get a button, you know, some holographic picture of me or a piece of the shirt I wrote it with, some, you know, bloodstained piece of DNA. You know, we're always trying to throw things in there that make it extra special for the listener.
Nice.
It's kind of scary. You know, it is kind of scary. And it's like, oh, great, Michael, blood flow cracks through the mail. Great. Not exactly that. We try to do it nice. But as I said, my father always told me, dude, it's a rough trade. Are you sure you want to do this? This is the hardest thing you can possibly dream up. I get it. I want to support you, you know, but this is the roughest. And now I know what my dad meant. But what was I going to do? It was that damn fence.
Yep.
I like jumping over it and that run into that particular brick house, which was different than ours. Ours was kind of sand rock. There was a name for it. It was I'm sorry, I don't have the name, but the other was a brick house. And I run in there, the piano was there, and it'd be those Ricky Nelson records, and Hank Williams records. You know, I heard that stuff, and it's like, this stuff is talking to me. This is really talking to me. And the rest is, they say,
history.
You know what I mean, Jimmy? History. Hopefully. I mean, there's a whole lot more. Maybe it's just to do another one, and it's really, you could seriously do the Scissorhand thing.
Yeah, true.
It's long, but thank you for having me. You know,
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it. Not everyone does. Not everyone does, and that sort of came with the virus. Like, no, that's cool. You know. You bring in those gypsies and those whores and stuff, and no, we don't want that. We don't want that. But they pay. They pay. Now they're calling.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the show today. I really enjoyed the chat, and anytime you want to come back on, brother, text me or send me an email. I'd love to have you.
Jimmy, so I'm going to take you up on that when the next time I've got something that's hot in my hands.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Anytime, brother.
Take that home with you, man. Thank you. Yeah, Born with an Accordion. And Sunny Afternoon. You're going to play those?
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will talk to you again in the fullness of time, as the universe permits.
Absolutely, brother. Let's stay in touch, all right?
We shall.
All right.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, you take care.
Be safe.
All right, bye-bye.
Taken all my dough and left me in my stately home, blazing on a sunny afternoon. And I can't sell my art, he's taking everything I got. All I've got's this sunny afternoon. Save me, save me, save me from this squeeze. I got a big fat mama